ready to go, sir.
Okay, it is now 5 o'clock. I'll call this meeting, regular meeting, Summers County Board of Education to order. Let the roll call show that Mr. Angel is joining us by phone. Myself, Mr. Brogan, Ms. Farley, and Ms. Harvey are all present. Now I'd like to ask Ms. Farley, would you like to lead us to the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to number 3, the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion that we pull Safe and Sound and RT Rogers out to be voted on separately.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to pull RT Rogers and Safe and Sound. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Now, also, I'd like to make a motion to strike 8F under new business, M3T MOU. We already have an MOU with them.
I'll second.
Under what now?
A,
8F.
I was looking at the old one.
Right here.
Gotcha.
we did that in May.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Jay, this is Greg. So I didn't catch why you were making that motion. Did you say there was already an agreement in place?
Yes, we already have an MOU with them, and it was done back in May.
Okay.
May 9th.
May 9th.
All right. I thought that's what you said, but I just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We have a motion and a second to strike that from the agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The record reflect that the motion carries 5-0. To strike that. Is there anything else, anyone else have anything that they,
I'd like to make a motion when we get to approval of previous board minutes that we handle those separately, please.
okay?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to do the minutes of the meetings separately. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by 5-0 vote, motion carries. Now, we need a motion for,
I'll make a motion that we
Grant.
approve the agenda with the aforementioned adjustments.
all right, we have a motion by Mr. Brogan and second by Ms. Harvey to approve the agenda with the changes. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Let the record reflect by 5-0 vote, motion carries. Now, moving on to presentations.
There are none, sir.
Now, okay, number 5, public comment.
There are none.
That will bring us to the approval of minutes. We'll need to separate the December 5th regular meeting and the December 19th special.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from December 5th, 2023 regular meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the December 5th regular meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Now, the December the 19th special meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for the December 19th special meeting.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
I abstain.
Okay, let the record show by 4-0 vote, the motion carries with Mr. Angel abstaining. Okay. Approval of bills.
Make a motion that we pay RT Rogers and Safe and Sound.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pay RT Rogers and Safe and Sound bills. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Let the record reflect by a 4-0 vote. Motion carries with Mr. Brogan recusing himself. Okay. Now I need a motion to pay the rest of the bills.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pay the rest remaining bills. Is there any further discussion?
It's not really discussion, I just thank Cassandra for sending that today with all of the color coding. That's very helpful.
It is.
Yes.
Gives us a chance to really look at it ahead of time.
All right, we have a motion and a second to pay the rest of the bills. All in favor, say aye.
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 Abstaining? All in favor of, it was a 5-0 vote to pay the bills. Okay, moving on to new business. Group purchases over 25,000?
Mr. Brogan will like this. No.
None.
All right.
All
I
right.
bet we all like it.
That's the way to end the year, right?
Yep. Okay, 8B, discussion and possible action to approve overnight out-of-state trip, Jumping Branch Elementary, 5th grade, to Great Wolf Lodge and Carowinds on May the 22nd through the 24th, 2024.
I'll make a motion that we approve the out-of-state trip for Jumping Branch, class to Great Wolf Lodge.
I will second that motion if they'll take me and you with them, Greg.
I won't put that in the notes.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Let the record reflect by 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Moving on to 8C, discussion and possible action regarding chaperone approval.
You guys have a list before you of the parents. And these are the parents that would like to chaperone, and it's good that we have this many people who like to be involved with our kids and go on trips.
Make a motion that we approve the recommended chaperones for the 5th grade Jumping Branch trip.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second
I didn't see Kenny.
to approve these chaperones. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Now to D, discussion and possible action regarding contributions to Hinton Area Elementary Sign Project with PTA and future countywide PTA projects.
You want me to go into detail with that, or you want to kind of explain that a little bit? How we got to this point?
Either way, I can do it or you can do it.
Go ahead,
Okay.
because you like to talk about money.
So Ms. Gum,
I'm having a little trouble hearing there. Is that,
Hang
Kenny,
on,
is the speaker still in your
Yep.
phone?
we're taking it to Cassandra.
Thank you.
Probably should have done that first.
So Ms. Gum called and had asked if there was any way that the county could contribute some money for the Hinton area, to purchase a couple signs, because the building doesn't really have good signage to let everybody know what the building is. The purchase, which she still needs to get a couple more quotes, but the purchase is going to be around $5,000-6,000. And that would completely wipe out their PTA funds. At first I was just going to tell her yes, because I do think as a county, we should support the schools when they're trying themselves. But I know that, like, we're not always going to have the money to do that. So I didn't know what kind of a grounds we wanted going forward, if you want to do each one separate depending on our financial state. I just wanted that to be you guys' decision versus mine, because we're not always going to be in a situation where we have money. So that's where we're at with it.
You guys remember the old board sign between the bricks? That we need to put something that says that's Hinton areas. We've been working to get to that because we thought we'd get to renovation sooner than what we have. But at this point in time, a principal's asking for some help. We thought, talking about it, we don't want to set ourselves up for the board to say, well, we paid this much in the past. We need to kind of get a set number to agree on. And then if any other principals need some help with signage, maybe we just cap it at, what was the number you were thinking? Like around 2,500?
I was thinking like half, which would be around 2,500, or just 2,500 straight, or whatever number you guys want to do. But then also the discussion of how we handle, like, if a school asks us to contribute as well.
So how was the sign for here handled?
This one?
Mhm.
We just paid for it. Because there was nobody knew what this building was. There was nothing on it, so we paid for that. But I don't think we did that. I think we were here about a year before we put a sign up, I believe, to get to that point.
This is a project that the,
So Cassandra understood you to say that she was going to be obtaining more estimates, is that correct?
yes, before the purchase is made, she'll have to get 3 price comparisons because it's over the $5,000.
Okay.
And this is a specific thing that the PTA has been working to raise money for a while. They do have the money currently, but it would wipe out their PTA funds, is what Ms. Gum had said.
And Mr. Angel, the other thing is, tonight could just be a discussion, no action, just something to chew on. Because there's nothing that says you have to hurry up and do this, but we thought, we don't want to set the board, we don't want to set the board up for anything right now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning with this. I think we need to wait to see what those other estimates come back in. I think that's something the board members need to kind of think over. As I talked to Cassandra about it, I'm all for supporting the schools, but as we tried to bring to light, we're getting ready to come to a cliff here in the very near future. But it's going to get really tight, and I don't, I don't want to not be able to support all of our schools in their endeavors, but yet we are going to have to be very cautious how money is spent with this, ESERP and ARPA program.
And so are they wanting a digital sign or is this a regular?
Yeah.
It's a regular sign, very similar to the one that's outside of this building.
Now, if you did digital, that's at the least is 15 to 20 grand. And
Graphic design class, is there anything they can do with this by chance?
I mean, we could,
Yeah, I actually priced the digital signs, this past week, and they were right around 13,000
Yeah.
for a double sided digital sign.
And then the digital sign that's down at the middle school, high school was sponsored by
ARH.
ARH.
the only reason why I know that is because it's on that sign and I see that all the time. That's the only way I knew about it. And I'm not sure how long that's been there. I don't know if you would,
Carrie was the principal then.
so at least 10 years ago, at least.
I think 6, 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that old then. Yeah.
All right.
All right, it's just,
Any other discussion on that?
Just want to call it discussion? is
yeah,
what you're
this
saying?
discussion, leave it at that for
Yeah.
today.
I want to give this to you because you'll be talking about the levy order. He needs to hear you.
Okay, moving on. Okay, G, discussion of possible action to approve booster fundraise at Tocket Elementary.
Oh.
Is that the wrong
Okay,
one?
Wait,
Oh, I done,
Levy order.
okay. Discussion of possible action, to set levy order.
Okay.
You're up.
We just need it doesn't really need to be a vote or anything, but, the levy order would need to be voted on in January in order to get it done in time, so we just kind of need an okay to move forward working with the lawyer to draft the levy order. I mean,
I mean, that's the only expense we have at this point, right?
it's
Just,
the lawyer's expense.
just-
Yeah, there's not any expense because it's running with the regular election, so there wouldn't be an expense for the levy. This would just be an okay to work with the lawyer and incur those expenses to draft the order. And then you would actually vote on the order once it's drafted.
I feel like to keep it clean, I feel like we should make a motion to move forward as opposed to just the discussion. What's your all's opinion on that?
so,
I feel like we should go ahead and make a motion to have to move forward with the lawyer, just to keep it clean and have it in the minutes, a record that we agreed to move forward with this.
So you make a motion?
I make a motion. I make a motion that we have Cassandra move forward with the attorney to draft a levy order.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to let Ms. McClung move forward with the levy order. Is there any further discussion?
To
To
draft it.
draft it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do we have a rough estimate of about what the lawyer fees would cost for this? Just curious if they've given us any indication.
No, we don't have an estimate yet, but we can ask them for that, and see.
Okay. I'd just be curious, because I'm sure this is not the first one they've done, so I would think they would have a ballpark figure of the amount of time it would take to draft this up.
Do we know what the hourly rate is for the attorney?
It depends which attorney does it.
Is it not gonna be the gentleman that came here?
If it's him, it's probably gonna be around $400 an hour. Usually it's between $300 to $500.
I think his rate is actually $450. I think he's one of the most expensive ones.
Yeah.
There's another guy that works on levy there too, that's about $350. So somewhere between $350 and $450 an hour.
Mr. Sufer is the most at 5.
Okay, any further discussion on that? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Now we'll move on to G. Discussion and possible action to approve booster fundraising at Tockett Elementary.
Not sure who's gonna talk about this, but I don't see it being a bad thing.
Also me, probably.
Go ahead, kind of like what they've done in the past.
This is something that, Ms. Brown wants to move forward with. It's just because we haven't used this specific kind of fundraising before, I wanted to bring it. It's a company that, sets up like shoot-a-thons, walk-a-thons, jump-a-thons, stuff like that, and puts like an online platform available. And then they get like a small cut of the profits. It's not much, but, Ms. Brown she's really strongly wanting this, but because we've never used that kind of platform before, that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys before we just told her to go ahead.
So what's the cost? So it says here in the supporting document that there's no upfront cost. There's a 15% platform fee where 10% of it's covered by the donors, which I'm guessing would be those that use the platform. And then 5% covered by the school. So do we know about how much the platform fee is?
Well, it's gonna depend on how much you raise. It's gonna be that percent of whatever is raised.
Okay. And then the school keeps 40% of the funds.
And Becca wasn't able to be here tonight.
Mhm.
That's why, I mean, she has a whole lot more information on it than I do. I only kind of know what it is. She's the one that's done all the research and is very, adamant's probably not the right word. but
Enthusiastic.
I would say
Enthusiastic.
enthusiastic would be a good term.
Enthusiastic, that's a better word.
So should we wait until she can be here to present?
That's up to you guys. It's up to you. If you want more information, we can ask her to be at the next meeting. It's up to you.
A lot of school systems use this, and basically the cost is they get a commission from it, and then the school gets, that's why you only get 40%, is because of those other costs they incur, and then that's their commission basically rate. 40% isn't bad, but it depends on what you're doing too.
I would sort of like more information, just so, because 40%, it's, I mean, if that's all that the school gets, then I worry about that, or I'm a little bit concerned about that. But if she's, more familiar with it and can tell us figures or, what her expectations are, what it is they'll be doing exactly, it might help us to see it better.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I mean, I participated in tons of this stuff in high school, but that's the old days. I skated, I rocked in a rocking chair 24 hours straight, but none of this was online, so. I'm all for these fundraisers.
Remember that?
Do you remember those days?
My thought on this is, I feel like we're micromanaging, not letting her fundraise however she wants.
Point two. Jay?
Well, I'd kind of like to have more information on it myself. I don't know what you think. Maybe.
I'd say it'd be nice to have her here to propose it. If,
Well, then let's do that.
Just take no action.
Okay. No action taken. All right, moving on to H. Discussion and possible action to hire McKinley and Associates for renovation at Hinton Area Elementary.
We put it out in the newspaper, legal ad for 2 weeks. We had some people interested, but at the end of the day, only 2 applied for it. And that was McKinley and Thrasher. Mr. Metter, Ms. McClung did the interviews. They had a rubric on a score sheet. And from what I understand, I think you jokingly said a touchdown and a field goal difference. So 10-point difference is what it sounds like. But it sounds like both firms were really close. I think the bigger thing is Thrasher had a couple things that you two mentioned that were about the contingency money issue, and everybody knows that's an issue when you go into construction. But they put a big number out there, and the number was a little much for us to swallow when McKinley just said, you have to deal with it as you get it, and you can't just pad a number in there. But is that basically right, what you're saying? And you guys can jump in. You're the ones that ran the interview, so.
That's basically it. I mean, that was the sticking point, and that was the overall factor of why we went with McKinley.
The other factor was McKinley seemed more open to working with the schedule we have because some of the construction will have to be done while students are in the building with our short time frame. The other firm didn't seem as open to that and asked if there was like any way to do it without children in the building or wait until June to do it. And that's just pushing the timeline too tight for me to be comfortable with it. So those were the 2 factors that we really thought was the difference between the 2 firms. But the 2 firms, both of them are excellent. So either one of them are perfectly capable of doing the job.
so where's the supporting documentation for this bid?
Chad would have a folder for it. So, interview
I
question
can show you.
And how much are we looking at?
for an architect, we don't get a upfront cost. It's usually a percentage.
It's usually 8 to 9% of the total cost is what firms get around there. That's basically what's going on with the SBA and the Talk at Gym. All those firms are around 8, 9, 10%. I think this one comes down to about 8 or 9 with the SBA. That one's more locked in because that was done like 3 years ago.
I will make a motion that we hire McKinley and Associates for the renovation of Hinton Area Elementary.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to hire McKinley and Associates for renovation in Hinton area. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Excuse me.
Opposed.
Let the record reflect by a 4-1 vote. Motion carries. All right, moving on to personnel. We have leave of absence, resignation, retirement, employment of service personnel, employment of professional, and employment of professional extracurricular extra duty. employment of homebound teachers, employment of substitute service.
I know it. You seen a familiar name there, Mr.
I
He couldn't
cannot
stay away,
believe-
could he?
I can't believe Kit Durden he's glutton for punishment.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a custodian.
Oh, I was talking about the custodian. I make a motion that we approve the superintendent's recommendations in regard to the aforementioned personnel.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, under service, we have two listed there, a bus operator and a secretary that are to be determined for the effective date. Will that be a date in the future?
The to be determined on bus operator and secretary.
What is that? His
Yeah, under service personnel.
question exactly?
Is that to be a date in the future?
Yeah.
or
we'll-
retroactive
we'll
date?
move-
Yes.
No, we'll present them in the future. They're not gonna move right now. Did hear that.
Could you hear that, Greg, Mr. Angel?
No, I did not.
Ms. Farley, if you tell him just, they're in the future.
They're in the
They're
future.
not moving yet.
They're not moving yet.
Okay, just one check on that one. Also, for employment professional, we have a math teacher at Summers County High School. So will this be replacing any type of, is this a teacher that's replacing a teacher? Is it replacing
Long-term,
a,
replacing a vacant.
Replacing a long-term sub, Mr. Angel.
long-term sub? Okay, thank you. And so explain to me again, CTR, this teacher is
CTR.
a new out of college teacher, correct?
Teacher in residence program.
Okay.
Let me do it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see you coming.
Hey, Greg, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
CTR, that's our, that one's coming from Marshall.
Okay.
We signed the agreement a couple weeks ago, I think the last meeting. And they complete their student teaching, getting paid 2/3 while on the job.
Okay, and is he going for his math certificate? How does that work? Will he be a certified math teacher when he's done?
Yes, she will be a certified math teacher.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I was just looking, at the title, the math teacher title. Okay,
Let him know
that's
she's
good. I just wanted to make sure that we were, looking out for the certified teachers in those areas. So
Yes,
thank you for that.
Yes, what she's finishing up the certification, and at the end of the year, we have to repost this position, whether this teacher would want the job or not, because the CTR term comes to an end, then we repost it, and we'll see what happens from there.
Very good. Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
you're welcome.
All right. Is there any further discussion on these?
That CTR will have a mentor as well, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
And has anybody already signed up to be that mentor, or is
we haven't
this?
posted it yet. We'll post it when they get here. They will also have a college mentor, supervisor from the college, but then also a mentor on the ground.
On site?
All right. If there's nothing further, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote. Motion carries. Okay, now moving on to the superintendent's report.
You guys have at the back of your folders, what was asked about construction costs. And then you also want to know about, legal fees over the fiscal years back in 18 to up to date. So you have one that's stapled and another one that is a one-pager document in the back for your information. I cannot remember who requested that, but,
I've been talking to Cassandra, but I don't know if anybody else was as well.
oh, okay, well, there,
I was asking.
okay. So that's for your information. I don't know if you have any other questions, Mr. Brogan, about it.
I just hope some way, somehow, in the very near future, we can reduce legal costs, that's all. And we've actually mentioned before, possibly looking at another firm.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe you can go ahead and put that on the agenda when the time comes.
I have
Something we could look at.
the one that's listed there beside Bowles Rice, I've worked with them in the past, and one of the attorneys is Jason Long, and he's really good with personnel law, and he would be at a less expensive cost, and he's closer to us. He works a lot with Pocahontas and Greenbrier, I do know that, and as a RESA director, we work with him as well, so I have no problem with that. I just know when I first came on, there was a little bit of a situation where I was told, we're going with Bowles Rice, and that's what I did.
Oh, yeah.
If we end up changing it, that's fine too.
It's on us.
Yeah.
But we're just, as it's already been mentioned several times, we're rapidly heading to that cliff, and we don't want to sacrifice quality, but
No, I understand. You would with the other
we
company.
can save some money.
No.
I love Trey. I love all the guys or ladies as well.
Yeah.
From Bowles Rice, but
When you're talking window time from either Huntington or Charleston, that's what you're paying into too. But like Densmore, if you use them, they're closer, and we could use them for just specifically personnel season, and that would save a lot. But if you guys don't have a problem with that, we can explore that. I'd be glad to look into that if you guys would like. But nothing has to be decided tonight, it's just for your information. Okay.
it maybe need to be an
Agenda
agenda
item.
item to actually, I don't know.
Okay. The other thing, the para, Rama update, the only thing I have is, and I'll let Mr. Angel, if he wants to jump in anytime about the survey, just need to know what type of direction as we move forward, where people want to go with a survey. I know Ms. Harvey and Mr. McBride and I met with the company, and they're willing to put together anything that we would like to. They just need to know what direction we want to go with as we move forward. So is it like a customer service that we're looking at for our staff? Is it for parents with how we're doing with their students? Are you looking at levy? We just have to figure out what we want to do, but we don't want to hit with so many surveys. We got to be very succinct until the point, not do all at once, but try to figure out what's our next steps as we look at a survey, basically.
I believe our main goal in seeking this survey in the very beginning was to be able to get a climate survey for our staff.
Yeah.
Overall. And I believe that still remains our priority.
Yeah, as far as the levy survey,
Yeah.
the ship's almost sailed.
And I would agree. I think that when we had our working meeting back when we
March.
first started talking about surveys, so that's been, I don't even remember when it was, it's been some time back, but I think we want, what we talked about then, and I think it's still in play, we would like to have a climate survey. We want to know what's working, so that we can continue that practice, what's not working, so that we can improve it. I think that the feedback that we can get will just help us as a board with the direction to make our school system better for our students and our staff.
I agree.
And I would agree. I think Cassandra and myself had this discussion. It's really, we're getting late into the game as far as a heavy survey goes. And I think that verbal communication as far as what people want in a levy may be better than an electronic survey. I think that, we talked about several times, we do the levy order, and then after that, we start going out and talking to the community members and say, what do you want in this levy? I think we have a good start, but we may take that to the community, and they may say, we like these ideas, but we don't like this one, and give us one that maybe we haven't thought of. So that's my thought on the survey.
So what, you want me to start putting together a climate survey for our staff with service and professional staff, everybody, and then vet that through you guys with questions that you'd like to see then? That's the next steps?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, will do. The
And
thing,
based on feedback we received, I think the briefer we keep it, probably the better the feedback will be. I don't think we want to get down in the weeds. We just really need to find out, what's working and what's not working.
okay. The other thing I have in front of you, and Mr. Angel, you can't see it, but I'll get you the book or have Mr. Brogan deliver it. But I've given each of you a book. I don't want to say I'm making you do a book study, but I'd like you to at least look this book over for the next semester and really look at what this person's talking about. But it's titled The Boogeyman Exists, and he's in your child's back pocket. This person has been to a couple of our superintendent conferences. I'm going to do this book study with my directors and principals and probably push it out to our district leadership team. I think people have to understand that cell phones are good when they're used for good and bad when they're not used for good. And our children are getting devices in their hands that really cause them more depression and anxiety than people realize. And I won't go into a lot of detail because I haven't read the book, but I've listened to this woman a couple of times, and I thought maybe this would be a great book study for us to look at as we look at cell phones in our school systems and see if this person can get us to think a little bit about our thinking when it comes to technology. Technology is good at some points, but the pen or pencil in your hand is technology, and that works really well too. So sometimes you have to say, what is the best effective use while kids in the classroom as we deliver instruction to them? And can we get them engaged with what we're trying to get them to learn, not engaged with something outside the classroom, which could cause more problems with interactions with other people, which could be a kid or an adult who you think is a kid. And there's some stuff in there that will make you go, wow, this is not good that our children are getting influenced by a lot of bad things. And I'd like you guys to read it. There'll be no test on this, but sorry, Jay, or Mr. McBride. But on a serious note, we're going to work with this with our staff as we move forward. And then at the next board meeting, I want to have Ms. Holt and Ms. Weichel, Mr. Persiani, and probably get Ms. Smith and Ms. Schaefer, and I think that's everybody on the team, to talk to you all about prisms with virtual reality. This would be a math and science. It can be for middle school, but these teachers that I'm talking about specifically, Holt and Weichel, are willing to be guinea pigs with this virtual world where we learn math and science in a spatial world that they can actually apply. And it's not gaming, so there's nothing with game. You're not trying to get to a next level. You're in a world where you're applying what you've learned with math or science. So we want to focus on algebra and geometry. And then the sciences, they have biology and chemistry. And they also have this down at the middle school level. This has been a vetted program that has some research behind it. We will get you all the documentation at the next board meeting. We thought this would be a natural fit for you to see this and hear about it at the LSIC meeting, because we're going to be at the high school, middle school. And we would like to put in front of you, using COVID money, to possibly purchase the headgear and then also the licensing to do this for the remainder of the school year, so the second semester, pilot it. If it works out well, we'll have COVID money to purchase it for the following year and maybe just push it down to the middle school staff. But today we had a virtual meeting with the company. Ms. Holt, Ms. Schaefer were part of that meeting, and after having a conversation with them, they want to bring in the others. And Mr. Persiani is a special ed teacher, and he could co-teach with the students, and we would maybe be able to hit the kids that have a harder time with math in the special ed program, not to water it down, but to give them the same opportunities every other kid. So it's pretty exciting that we could have a co-teaching with our special ed, general ed, and look at that as we move forward. So we'll get you more information, but I just give you a little taste tonight for the next board meeting for them to talk to you about how they would use it. Miss Holt currently is working with a teacher. You know how he talked about M3T, where you have that MOU? She works with a teacher already that does this in Cabell County. That's where I learned about it in June at the superintendent's conference, what Cabell County's doing. One thing Cabell County talked about was their board got to be taught by the students, and they put the headset on the board members and taught them how they're learning through the virtual world. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean they're doing it all the time. It might be 2 or 3 days, then you go back to paper and pencil. But when you put the VR on, you can learn and you can fail, and you can learn and fail in your world, and the teacher can see what you're doing and then help you out, which is really great, because sometimes some kids just don't want to perform in front of others because they don't want to, nobody wants to fail in front of your peers, and they can fail all day long, and the teacher would be the only one that knows, hey, I need to work with you a little bit more. Or when we go back to paper and pencil, here's what we were trying to learn. And so it's a lot for you guys to digest, but we'll bring that to you at the next board meeting, since we're going to have an LSIC meeting starting at the comprehensive high school. That's all I have for my reporting.
All right. Now to points of privilege. Ms. Harvey?
Thank you. So we're halfway through the school year, and congratulations to everybody that's made it. I think looking back over this fall semester, I think one thing that we have not done a good job on is looking at more updates regarding academic achievement on our agendas, and I'd like to see that moving forward.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Ms. Farley?
So at one point, I was named, I don't know, Chief Executive Officer of Warm Fuzzy Feelings, something like that. So my point of privilege is, as we go into the new year, we're going to put behind us anything that we consider bad from this past year. We're going to look forward to what we can do this coming year as a team. And we're going to work together to accomplish that. And I'm going to challenge everybody in this room and everybody that's going to review this to do a random act of kindness once a week to anybody in the school system. Just a random act, whether it's leave a note for somebody on their desk, buy them a coffee, send them a little note on an email, stop by a classroom and tell them they're doing a good job, anything like that. And you think even if just us in this room do that once a week next year, that is over 600 random acts of kindness. And that is not something to take lightly. So I'm challenging everybody in this room. I'm going to do it. Maybe you pick a day of the week or whatever. And anybody that's listening, I hope you do it too. And I hope that we can make a tiny little bit of difference next year in our school system with that.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Rogan?
Megan almost got me word for word on the first one. But I would like to also congratulate the staff and the students on almost completing the first semester, the 23-24 school year. Also would like to wish each and every one here in YouTube world have a very Merry Christmas. And I guess this will be my random act of kindness already. I've been thinking about this all day, actually, and I'm sure out there somewhere somebody knows somebody that doesn't have this or that, whatever it might be. And if any of you knows anybody like that, my phone number is on the county website, or you can reach out to me on my messenger, and I will personally see to it that you at least have a warm meal come Christmas Day.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Mr. Angel?
Can I say ditto?
Aw.
For all the, Ms. Farley, that's why you have the title that you have. You know, I have something that's not related to this, but I just want to say I can't brag enough about these board members. Truly, each one of these board members are there not to serve themselves, but to make sure we do what we can to help our students, our staff, and our community. And so hats off to each one of you all. And, you know, it takes each one of us and everyone in the board office, all of our staff members, to make this successful, this school system successful. So I just appreciate all that. From my point of privilege, though, I did have the privilege of attending some competitions that the Summers County FFA participated in a couple weeks ago in Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm not going to give away any surprises. I would love for the Summers County FFA to come and tell us about their experience, and I will ask them if they would like to do that and try to get them on an agenda coming up. But it was a very good experience, I think, for all those that attended, and just the way they represented our school system, just the exemplary behavior that they had, and the way that they represented us during the competition. I think anyone who could have seen that would have been grinning from ear to ear and proud of each one of those students that participated. So again, I don't want to give away any surprises, but they did a great job. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Angel. We surely appreciate you and everything you do. And it's hard to follow, all you guys and gals.
That's why I don't like to go last, Jake.
Well, I usually next to last, so I gave you a little step ahead there. But anyway, I just want to say I enjoy serving with all of these board members, and I don't think there's a one here that doesn't feel all the same things that everyone just mentioned. And if, like Kenny said, Mr. Angel, Ms. Harvey, Ms. Farley, if there's anybody out there that you know of that needs something, especially at this time of year, just let us know. Contact us. And I want to thank all of our staff for all the hard work they do, and that's everyone in the school system. It's not an easy job, and a lot of times it goes unappreciated. But and outside of that, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and safe travels. All right, moving on to number 12, discussion of next agenda.
we kick the
I
can
have,
on.
several items, but since I'm not there, Mr. Warble, I'll just get with you before the next agenda comes out and we can discuss possibly adding a few things onto the agenda. I know that we're gonna have LSIC, so, we'll try to keep it as brief as possible.
If we could, for our first meeting of the year, will we have a calendar yet of our deadlines, or does that come a little bit later than the beginning of the year? Do you know?
Now I can give you that.
Okay.
You like that?
Can you put it in our packet for our first meeting?
Yeah.
Thanks. Because I like to have those where I can keep an eye on them. I'm terrible with dates. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I'll make a motion, we adjourn. The time is 5:56.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg.